An offer from a gentleman. Oh, yeah. An offer indeed. And it's the icon back with another Bridgerton review for you. Took a little hiatus from the TV reviews because I went to a fashion show on Valentine's Day weekend and I've been uploading all of my footage for the fashion show. And with that being said, if you want to check out the fashion show and many other fashion shows just like it, I now have a second YouTube channel devoted strictly to fashion shows called Bright Eyes Media. So go on YouTube, go to Bright Eyes Media, hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, watch all my videos up there for all your fashion desires that you so desperately cling. If you wish to check it out, go to Bright Eyes Media, check it out, and I'll see you there. Now, this we're back for some more Red Eyes Entertainment, a little Netflix Bridgerton action because the second half of the season's coming up actually in about 2 days. It comes up in about 2 days. So I want to get this last video up for for Bridgerton so we can conclude the first half of the season as we go into the second half of the season. So this particular episode starts. The last episode, the last mid-season finale episode starts, where both Sophie and Benedict, they've returned to London. Now remember, Sophie was a social outcast because of the ongoings with her and like her wicked stepmother. And I did not realize this until I was watching this particular episode. The wicked stepmother is Cho from Harry Potter. Like, how did I not see that sooner? There was something about her, but then then it clicked it. And as we remember, the wicked stepmother, we'll just call her Cho because I can't remember the woman's name. She basically outcasted Sophie from working in London. She put the word out that there's something wrong with this girl and that this girl cannot seek employment anywhere in London. So when she returns to London with Benedict, she's like, oh, where am I to be working? And then he was just like, well, he was like, unfortunately, he said, I put the word out and many people said that you were incapable of employment. He's like, I'm not sure why. He's like, so you're going to work for me at Bridgerton House with my mother. And then she's like, can I work for you? And he's like, well, I can't. He's like, bitch, you ain't got no choice. He's like, nobody wants to hire your ass. And then he was just like, look, he's like, I'm taking over for the Viscount. He said, it's a big ass house. You're hardly going to see me. And, it's fine. He's like, but you can't get no work elsewhere. So she's like, okay, fine. She's like, I'll take the job. And he also got a job for the other girl too, the girl with with the missing hand. Because he did say that he was going to get employment for both of them, and he ended up getting both of them work. And then she saw her later on in Bridgerton House, so both of them work in Bridgerton House. Because remember, she was the other girl that got run up on when they was in the countryside. She is now the lady maid for Eloise and for Hyacinth, Miss Hyacinth. I can't get that girl's name for shit. The youngest daughter, because I guess she's like EFGH, yeah. So she's like the youngest child because she came after Gregory. Gregory came back. He a little taller, a little older, voice a little deeper, got a little facial hair on himself. And now Sophie, she's engulfed in Bridgerton House. And she's making friends with Eloise. She's making friends with Hyatt. The crazy shit is, this I was dying when, when Benedict brought Sophie into the house and introduced him to his mother. He was just like, oh, this is Miss Sophie. She's supposed to be the new maid. And then Mrs. Bridgerton said, she was like, what qualifications do you have, as a maid? And she said, well, ma'am, I can read and write. And I got up and walked off the couch. I was like, oh, shit. Like, I understand the time period. I understand the time frame. When she said I can read and write, I swear to God, I almost lost it on the inside. Because apparently those were all the qualifications you need. And then she's like, I can sew, I can cook. Because she was basically like one of 8 maids, in her old house. So she basically did everything. They depended on her, which is why when she left, Cho had to steal like 15 maids just to do the job of Sophie. She's the lady maid for the 2 youngest girls, and she's helping both of them. She's getting to know both of them. Eloise is actually taking to her because since she can read, she knows about the triumphs of the independent woman, which she likes, but she also knows about like the refinery and all this other crap that Miss Hyacinth likes. But there is a moment because the problem is Benedict's still in the house, and because he's in the house, he's still on the search to try to find the lady at the party. Because he's just like, he told his mom, he was like, oh, I'm gonna continue my search for the lady at the party. So a bunch of them, even on Miss Alice, we'll get to her later, they narrowed down the search to one specific family where they said that the daughters of the family were never taught how to dance. Because I remember Sophie said to Benedict in the first episode that she didn't know how to dance. So they bring this girl over to the house. Benedict, they're having a conversation. The girl, like all the stuff that that happened when they were at the party, this girl knows all that stuff, like she can't dance, like she can speak French and everything. And then even then Benedict, he was like, oh, he was like, I can speak French as well, but I was told that my dialect needs much improvement. And he was told that by Sophie when they were in the countryside. So now Sophie is serving everyone tea. And then when the girl said, she was like, oh, your French is very delightful, Mr. Bridgerton. She's like, whoever told you you can't speak properly is a fool. And then, Sophie got mad, got a little upset, and she accidentally spilled the tea on Benedict's arm. But then later on, they found out that the girl never actually went to the party. So that ruled her out. And then, Benedict went to talk to Sophie, and he was like, what's the matter? And then she was just like, your presence here is damaging to me. She was like, you can't be here. And then, Benedict felt some kind of way, and then he left, because he does have a bachelor pad that he could retreat to. So he leaves, he goes to his bachelor pad, he leaves her alone. Now, between that time, Sophie, she's getting to know, like, the other maids more, and she's, trying to fit into the house and everything. And there was a moment where Mrs. Bridgerton, she even questioned, like, her past. She was like, I heard some things about you. She's like, tell me. And she's like, I'm not ready to tell you, Mom. And then she was like, fine, you saved my son's life, and that's all that I desire. So now at this point, Lady Bridgerton, she was trying to, let's just say, have a night with Marcus. And she was a little concerned because it's been a while since she's had tea, and she needed a way to have this tea with the house empty. So she talked to Francesca, because since Francesca and John moved back to town, they haven't had like a housewarming party yet. So she was like, oh, you should invite the family over for a housewarming party. And she was going to like get them out of the house so she could stay at the house and, have tea with Marcus. But then she was talking to her headmaid about it. And then she was like, everybody has tea, Mom. And she was like, life is meant to be lived, which is crazy coming from like a maid, but it is what it is. But one thing we do find out is like the maids, they're not just like 24-hour servants. Like they had, because the thing is, up until now, we've never really seen like inside the maid life. We've never really seen like what the maids and the servants actually go through. Come to find out, they have lunch breaks. They have like an employee lounge where they sit at a table and play cards. There's like after work hours where their shift is over. They get to go to the market. They get like, they're basically just regular people with regular jobs. They just don't have titles or like high status. So that's, it's actually pretty cool to know, to know that, to be honest with you. Lady Bridgerton set it up. Her and Marcus came over. Marcus thought he was actually having tea. And then when she got to the house, she was like, I am the tea that you're having. And I was just like, go ahead, Lady Bridgerton. And then the two of them did the deed. Francesca and John hosted the party. And Francesca and John, they're still at the point where Francesca's still trying to reach the pinnacle. And she hasn't reached the pinnacle yet. And because she doesn't really know anything, she was kind of like faking orgasms when her and John were together. And then John was like, you do not have to fake on my account. And then he was just like, first of all, he was like, I'd rather been taking it easy on your ass. But she's like, but if you're ready, because she was trying to be more spontaneous, she was trying to be more open. And John was like, if you're ready to explore more, he's like, I'll bust those cheeks wide open. And then she seemed to be down with it. So it's a slow process. It's a slow process. His cousin, I believe it's his cousin, she came back, and I don't know why she's like desperately like following John all over the place, but Francesca seems to be a little bit uneasy when she's around. I'm not sure why. Alice now with her fine ass. So like this girl is like, this woman is ridiculously fine. Alice and Lady Danbury, they go before the Queen so they can talk about I guess because Lady Danbury, she's still trying to leave. Like, she still wants to return to her home country. And the Queen still doesn't want her to go because she's like, you're my best friend. And she's like, you can't leave me. But Lady Danbury's whole thing is, if she can find somebody to replace her, then maybe she'll be comfortable letting the Queen go. And she feels that Alice perfectly fits the criteria of someone who the Queen needs by her side. So she brings her before the Queen, and the Queen is like, oh yes, she'll be a nice lady in waiting. See, but the problem is Alice doesn't actually want to be a lady in waiting because she's a very like strong-willed personality, and she feels like being a lady in waiting is demeaning. And then Lady Danbury immediately took offense to that. She was like, it's the greatest honor someone can have, child. And then she was like, but I can't feel your shoes. And she was like, for the love of God, woman, get your own shoes. And then she said, what better way to shape the country is to stand right behind Her Majesty the Queen and help her build the new world. And she told her, she said that the thing is, the difference between you, she was like, you're exactly what she needs. She was like, she's like, you'll challenge her in ways that she's never been challenged before. You'll respect her as the queen, but you will not treat her as such. And that's the thing, because the thing with the queen is like everybody, they like bow down. They just like, oh my God, it's the queen. Like they kiss her ass. You know what I'm saying? Like they're ass kissers and they just do whatever she wants. Like Alice ain't gonna do that shit. Like Alice is gonna be like, you know, apologies, Your Majesty, but that's complete rubbish, you know? And she'll tell her why. And Lady Danbury was the same way. Like she was more of a friend to her than an actual like lady in waiting, just standing there behind her doing nothing. Alice kind of came around to that because when she told her, she was like, you can help her shape the world. That's when Alice was like, all right, maybe there's something to this shit after all. And then her husband was still like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like I still don't know what's going on, but it's the highest honor one can achieve. And I'm actually looking forward to that because maybe the actress that plays Lady Danbury, maybe she plans on leaving the show. So it is a nice transition. Like Alice would be like the perfect person, to be honest with you. If there was somebody we had to pick to take Lady Danbury's place, like Alice is actually like the perfect candidate. So we'll see how that. I'm actually looking forward to that storyline, to be honest with you. Like just give me a series called Alice and the Queen. So the Maid Wars have sufficed now, and now it leads us to the nighttime. Benedict, he neglected to go to Francesca's party, and he decided to go back to Bridgerton house so he can go see Sophie. Sophie was on her way to the bar with her coworkers, but then she said she forgot her coin purse, and then she went back upstairs to go get her coin purse. When she got back to her room, Benedict was there because he was looking for her, and then the two of them graced into each other's eyes, and then like they made sweet, passionate love down by the staircase, and they were on top of the staircase, and then their passion for each other burned like no other burn ever burned before. And then this is the part that actually blew my mind. Like, like this shit was wild. So they're making love, kissing on the staircase. And then Benedict is like, Sophie, he was like, I can't live without you. He was like, you're my every beckon word, my every beckon call. He was like, your eyes, everything about you just takes my breath away. And he was like, I would love for you to do me the honor. And she was like, yes, Mr. Bridgerton. He was like, do me the honor and be my mistress. And I immediately fell off the couch and started dying. like, you know that meme where something happens and the people in the crowd go, oh, like, I swear to God, that's how, you could pinpoint the moment on her face where her heart shattered. And I'm sorry, I feel so bad, but I laughed my ass off because that shit was fucking awesome. Because the thing about it is, her mother was a mistress. Like she was the mistress of her father. And the whole time she was in Bridgerton house, like the other maids and everything, they spoke ill of mistresses. She was just like, oh, we'll not have that in this neighborhood. So it's obviously looked at as a bad thing. And she knows it's looked at as a bad thing. And also, she doesn't want to basically end up like her mother did. It's like the cycle repeating itself all over again. And after her heart broke, she just quietly just stopped, turned away from him, and just walked out the house. And he was just standing there looking dumbfounded, like he didn't know what to do. And then she just met up with her coworkers and just went to the bar. And I was just like, oh shit. And then here was the surprise. It was the surprise of the whole episode. The whole surprise. Because the whole episode, they were talking about how new neighbors moved in next door to Bridgerton house. So they were trying to figure out like so it was just something they've been suddenly bringing up throughout the entire show. And then as Sophie was walking away with her coworkers, we saw who the new house owners are that live next door to Bridgerton house. And it's Cho, her wicked stepmom, and her stepsisters. And that was how the episode ended. And thank you for tuning in. Also, the head maid for the Feathering house, she quit and now she works for Cho. And I was like, I actually want to see that too. Like, I'm interested to see that. Because when Lady Feathering finds out, she was like, how dare you leave Feathering? I was like, that's going to be some shit. And I'm glad they sprinkled that in there to still give like the Feathering something to do. Because I actually do enjoy the Featherings. But now Sophie, who was banned from working in London, now has a job right next door to her stepmother, the woman who fired her. So this whole thing is going to get very messy very quickly, very quickly. Meanwhile, Lady Bridgerton's still upstairs having tea, and I look forward to seeing where all this unfolds when Bridgerton resumes, I believe like in 2-3 days this week. So check me out all over social media. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on X, on TikTok, and YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. So like I said, Go to my other YouTube channel, my second YouTube channel, Bright Eyes Media, if you want to check out everything related to fashion and fun and all things in between. Like I said, we got Daredevil Born Again, which is coming up pretty soon. We're almost in March. Like, March is almost here, so Daredevil Born Again will be here pretty soon. So after we conclude Bridgerton, Daredevil will probably start, and then we'll review Daredevil. They'll probably overlap, so I'll be doing like the last 2 episodes of Bridgerton and like Daredevil probably at the same time. Like I said, but I got some other stuff coming down the pipeline for you guys as well, and I look forward to bringing it all to you on Red Eyes Entertainment. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So until we resume the second half of Bridgerton season 4, take care because it's about to get messy, and we're out this bitch.